Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Drew Davis, and I want to welcome you to Learn How to See Better. It's the only podcast out there that will improve your vision the longer you listen. And in today's episode, we're going to celebrate a little milestone, a milestone of 2 years in the making, that this podcast has been going long and strong, looking to help people with positive messaging from personal examples and experiences in the areas of health, wealth, and relationships. And so what I invite you to do is tune in to today's episode as I share a few things about my journey and things that you can take and hopefully impart into your journey for an overall enhanced and better quality of life. So get ready for a great episode as we mark this 2-year milestone, and there's always going to be more to follow. Thanks. So today there's some thoughts that I wanted to share about growth and contribution. And I think that part of what has that on my mind is just some of the natural process of living life and going through the experience of growing, the experience of making decisions to contribute. Because not everyone that grows elects to contribute. Is that fair to say? And is it also fair to say that not everyone that elects to contribute has really taken the time to grow? And so when I think about that, there's the process of really looking at, growth and contribution as something that's generally linked and ideally linked, because the best type of contribution is going to be the type of contribution that's got growth coupled with it. And what I've learned on my own personal growth journey is that there's something that happens along the way when you're growing, especially when you're growing intentionally, because there's typically something that started you off the path to say, wow, there's really more I want to learn about this subject. There's more I want to do to dive into becoming more knowledgeable and more well-informed about a certain subject. And I think that the powerful thing about the information age is information is almost like an ingredient in a recipe, to where it plays a role in the dish that you're preparing. And so if you're growing with intention and you're learning things with a specific desire to do something with them, it's going to be a lot easier to take the positivity of the information that you've hopefully gained and put that positivity into action, right? You're going to be able to more easily take that newfound know-how and do something with it that can make a positive difference in your own life and someone else's life. It's all a function of your goal. And so what my experience has been is there's been times where I didn't even have growth in my foresight. I didn't even have the idea of growing around a particular subject or a particular area of my life in the game plan at all. But sometimes when you go through life, you have experiences that introduce you to new subjects, that introduce you to topics, that introduce you to new ideas to explore in greater detail to see if they're an idea that you want to embrace, accept, or reject. And so as the experience of life can shape what we take in, it's important to note what resonates well. Sometimes our experiences of life will light a fire under us to really take action about that experience, about that newfound thing. But if you really take a deeper look, these can be signals to help you tap into your superpower, because if there's information that comes across your way and it really excites you, it really grabs your attention, it really makes you feel as though it would be worth your while to lean more into the opportunity to become more educated about something, then that might be telling you something about yourself, that's kind of a natural gravitation that's not just, fueled by temporary hype. And so when you can find something that excites you to learn more about, and it excites you because you see it as valuable to yourself, and most things that are valuable to us at an individual level, in some way, shape, or form, they've got potential value that they could bring to others, or at least some partial value to individuals that are a lot like us, or in a situation a lot like ours, or in some sort of scenario that makes them similar to us in some sort of way. And so the power to take information and use it to grow, and then to grow to a point where you've not only got the initial excitement that caused you to start this journey in the first place, but now you get the momentum and the excitement that comes from actually obtaining new little nuggets of wisdom, and those pieces of information you can look to apply to your own life. And that's where the magic happens, not just from the information, but it's the action coupled with the information that becomes very powerful. Knowledge and application together, that education and application together is a powerful component of transformation. But if you don't put the two together, all you're going to end up with is a lot of frustration. And so recognizing that, that very positive or very negative effect that can come from what's done on the back end of informing yourself. If you act, you can move mountains. If you hesitate or fail to act, then really nothing happens and you actually experience a negative effect. It feels like a waste of time, right? An investment that provided no return. So the action's what actually moves the wheel. And once that moved wheel gets more motion, you start to think of words like momentum. And that's that momentum that can carry you forward to new heights, which in and of itself helps to accelerate the results from the path of growth that you sought out to explore in the first place. And that's when the excitement happens, because you recognize that now, wow, I've had impact from taking this education, applying action to it, and seeing real results. And those results can be so exciting. I mean, you want to run to the mountaintop and tell the whole world. And you want to be able to help others that have maybe had the sleepless nights, or the nights filled with tears and frustration and angst around whatever it is you're grappling with in life, in your health, in your wealth, in your relationships, whatever arena we're talking about. And so you take some newfound education, you apply some action, you see some results, and you use that to build more momentum to do more of the same. And that can essentially create an inferno of excitement that at a certain point, it's like you're catching fire everywhere you go, right? You're always on fire, and anyone you touch, they turn to flame. And that's that type of positivity that can really make a great difference in the world if you're sharing it with the right people and sharing it in the right way. And that's where you find that something turns on. That innate ability and desire to start making an impact, not just for yourself. You start to see so much benefit that it spills over into others. Like, wow, I'm receiving so much benefit from this. I can't be the only one that just feels like they're winning at life right now with this thing I found. Everyone should know about it. Everyone should get the opportunity to enhance their life in some way, shape, or form with this same, tried and true technique, tip, transformational process, book, program, challenge, you name it, what have you, whatever. We'll find that it's very possible to kind of get infected in that sort of positive way and say that, you know what, I have something that I've got to share with the world quickly. I'm excited. I'm on fire. I want to spread it like wildfire. And that's where that contribution muscle kicks in, where you start to look at saying, hey, what's the fastest way for me to be able to make positive impact? Where do I go? How many people can I connect with as quickly as possible to share the good news of the promise that you found in your new path? And that's where you see that, the right person with the right message, with the right path, and that talks to the right people with that drive of contribution can truly be a good difference maker in the world today when so much of that's needed, right? That positive outlook that translates into positive outcome, and more people doing positive things to generate a positive momentum, right? That has a positive effect in the world. And so that's really the link between growth and contribution that excites me, because again, not everyone that grows chooses to contribute. Sometimes you find a secret or you find a new nugget and it's like, man, I'm not letting anybody get this. I'm keeping it all to myself. Okay, that's fair. That's one way of looking at life, right? And, one way to consider the world would be if everyone thought the exact same way, right? Everyone just finds their little piece and kind of hoards it and saves it just to themselves. And there's no insight, no value gained by others that are, in theory cared for, or those you want to see have similar successes. And as I said previously, not everyone that contributes has elected to go down a path of growth. Opinions, yeah, they're like belly buttons. Everyone's got one, as far as I know. And so based on that, if someone's not chosen to really take the path of growth and embrace that and see the value of that before they choose to go and contribute and influence and shape the minds of others, you would hope that the two of those have been linked. And so that's why the link between growth and contribution is so important, because one without the other is really an incomplete story. One without the other leaves you wondering almost what's the point? Once you've seen the power of growth and contribution coming together and how they link together to build and help others grow. So hopefully you've seen some insight as well, the powerful link between growth and contribution. And now the question becomes, what can you do to make a better difference in the world? What ways have you grown if you're not currently on an observable growth path? You probably are, but you might not realize it. But in the past, what ways have you grown that you've elected to contribute? And how did that help if you made that election? And if you have gone through the path of growth in a tangible fashion that you can recall, and specifically elected not to contribute, I would be interested why. Care to share? It would be interesting to hear and see and gain perspective, because there's always new perspectives and ways to look at things as to why there may be reasoning for one philosophy over another. And these are the ways that we can learn how to see better by exploring views that may be different from our own. But I've certainly taken what some of my experiences have been and shared them here with you today with hopes that you'll be able to make the powerful link between growth and contribution and have that make a positive effect in your life and hopefully the lives of the other individuals that you care about as well. So until next time, thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Learn How to See Better. This is your host, Drew Davis. Looking forward to catching you on the next episode. Thanks. For 730 days and counting, this podcast has been introduced to the world and sharing information designed to help you in key areas of your life, health, wealth, relationships, and helping you to take stock of your outlook on life and your perspectives, because it's the quality of our outlook that dictates the quality of our outcomes. And so in this podcast, I've been aiming to do just that, to help you understand different ways that I've learned how to reframe experiences that I've had and to take certain lessons of life and apply those. And the results obtained are worthy of sharing with the masses.